Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well today. As you can see, this camera angle is a little bit different. I have a GoPro mounted on my head when I film this, which is a little bit ridiculous, but I really wanted to get this shot to make it look like you were the ones journaling. This point of view is a little bit different, so let me know down in the comments below how you like it. I will be switching back and forth from like the regular bird's eye view to this kind of first person point of view in this video, because I don't want you to get too dizzy or nauseous or confused, because this angle is a little bit different. But yeah, it kind of is fun and you get to kind of track my movements. But as you can see, I am starting with the journaling, so I should probably tell you what's happening on the screen. First of all, I have a whole bunch of Traveler's Company paraphernalia on my desk, and I was just cleaning up my scrap paper bin, and I kind of put a few sheets on my desk as a reminder for me to use these things. So this is the 2019 guide that came with my Midori Traveler's Notebook monthly insert for 2019, and the theme for Traveler's Company inserts this year are, I guess, analog music, or yeah, I think that's the theme, because there's a cassette player, radio, and a record player, and a whole bunch of the pamphlets for this year. So I think that's the theme, which is great. And I like the whole look of this pamphlet because there are bright pops of color, which are totally up my alley, but it also has these fine line drawings, which is always fun. It kind of looks like it was hand drawn, and I like that, and I think it would look good on a spread. So I'm gonna try and incorporate it into this spread today. I also had this envelope that came with my, I think it came with my pen haul actually. This is the envelope that all the pens came in, and it's just a regular old craft paper envelope, which I just disassembled, and I wanted to keep as much of it intact. So I wanted the text, the Japanese characters that say Muji, I wanted to keep it intact, but I guess it wasn't quite smart of me because I ended up covering it in the final spread. But I tried my best to keep it intact, and I wanted a torn edge as usual because I think torn edges look more organic and it fits my look. If you're a long time viewer, you would know that if I'm given an opportunity to tear a piece of paper, I probably will. And I want the right side of the spread to be fully filled with that pamphlet. And even though it says 2019 guide, I wanted to cover it up with some paper, but I'm just gonna switch gears here. I really like the point of view that I have on right now, or that's on the screen right now, because I don't know, you can kind of track how I use my space and how I navigate things. I don't know, I just find this really cool, and I hope you like it too. But anyways, I ran out of my trusty, what is it called? Trusty, not glue gun. What is that called? I'm blanking out, and I don't want to re-record this voiceover. Oh, it's a tape runner. Sorry. But I just have this glue stick, so I'm just gonna use this glue stick, even though I'm not a big fan of glue sticks. The sad thing is that tape runners are very expensive, so I need to go to Michael's and use a 40% off coupon. But pro tip, if you are a teacher or in the education field, you get 15% off on regular purchases at Michael's. So if you are a teacher or educator, go down to Michael's and use your discount. You just need to bring your teacher ID, or school ID. But yeah, that's been a lifesaver, and that's how much, well, I do use that discount a lot, especially if I'm buying pens at Michael's. So from the pen haul, I actually use that discount as well. So if you're an educator, I highly suggest you bring your ID to Michael's. If you don't have Michael's where you live, that totally just disregard that, because that's random information you don't need to know. As you can see, I'm actually watching some YouTube while I journal, and I don't know. I used to listen to podcasts, but sometimes I like watching something too, because there are times when podcasts, I don't know, sometimes I need even more undivided attention, which kind of defeats the purpose of podcasts, because I know you're supposed to well, you don't have to multitask, but I like multitasking while listening to podcasts. But if I'm listening to something very interesting like Serial, I just want to put all of my attention to that show, that audio show. So yeah, I've been kind of watching some other YouTube channels while journaling. So I don't always watch journaling videos while I'm journaling. I was watching a Sophie and Nigar video. But as you can see, I switched camera angles, and I am cutting out the cassette tapes in the other pamphlet. This is in the smaller pamphlet that came with my Midori Traveler's Notebook monthly insert for my passport size Midori, and I cut those cassette tapes out. But before I adhered it on, sorry, I'm just laughing because the GoPro was in frame. But yeah, I ended up wanting to cover the 2019 guide, or that's the text that was on the larger pamphlet, and I have this random paper pad on my desk that I just keep when I need to jot down some random notes. And I decided to like eyeball it, but then I think I ended up cutting a sheet too big. But the whole point of cutting out this triangular sheet of paper is to cover up the text that says 2019 guide. I thought it would be awesome to maybe do my journaling there, but as you will see later, I will end up changing what I do with this part of the journal spread. And the nice thing about having a paper pad on my desk is just to always have something or some sort of paper that I can jot down notes on real quickly. But I actually ended up finishing this paper pad, which reminds me that I need to go buy another one. I've been also struggling to incorporate my bullet journal into my regular I guess my regular life in general, because I write a lot of to-do lists on this paper pad, which is counterintuitive, because if you have a bullet journal or even like a Midori or whatever planning system you have, you can technically be writing those to-do lists on planners. But I don't know, I'm like one of those guys that has like a million post-its and paper pads, and like I cram all of those into my notebook, which doesn't make for a very aesthetically pleasing calendar. Like I go onto Pinterest and I see some amazing work done on bullet journals and whatnot, and then I look at my planner and I'm just like, how do people do this? But I don't know, I really want to get back into bullet journal, like full on bullet journaling. I kind of like committed with my smaller bullet journal, but I really want to do a full on bullet journal with like a future log and everything done properly in a larger like A5 size notebook. So I've been using I don't know why I'm telling you this, I didn't fast forward a lot of the clips, so there's more time to talk and chat. But I have a Midori Traveler's no, it's not a Midori Traveler's notebook, it's a MD paper notebook, and it's in A5 size and it's lined. I kind of want to convert it. I've been using it as a weekly journal, but I kind of want to convert it into a bullet journal. Let me know what you think about that, because this is a lined notebook, and I don't know if I feel like bullet journaling lends itself better to a dot grid notebook. But as you can see, I finally covered that text on that pamphlet, and now I'm cutting out some more of these cassette players or cassette tapes. And I'm gonna incorporate this on the left hand side of the spread. But as you can see, I kind of have all of the collage elements that I want to use in my journal spread. I wasn't at the moment that I was filming this, I wasn't in the mood to actually draw or sketch something out and put a fun little illustration. So I ended up just using all of these collage elements, and then I'll do some watercoloring to supplement it. But as you can see, I use the cassette tapes to kind of bridge the pamphlet on the right side to the left hand side, since it's a little bit plain, and I ended up covering the Muji text on the craft paper, which is a shame, but I think it was ultimately a better choice because it kind of made the left hand side a little less busy, because I really wanted to incorporate this music note paper. I think this is a scrap piece of paper that I've had for a while, but I ended up, instead of putting down a large sheet of it, I ended up kind of emulating the look of washi tape. I don't have any musical note washi tape. I don't know if that exists. If it doesn't, I should probably look into like finding some or making some, because I love the look of musical notes, and I think it would be awesome to have it as a washi tape, especially if you're like journaling about music. It would be amazing, actually. Note to self: make some music note washi tape. But I kind of cut this paper to look like a page flag, or how I would usually cut washi tape to make it look more decorative. And I really liked how this looked, but I didn't know where to adhere it. But I think I ended up committing to the left hand side of the spread, just on the almost to the edge. I think I left like a 4mm gap from the edge, because I still wanted some of that brown paper to peek through. And then on top of the GoPro is covering it. I kind of layered the 3 different cassette tapes over top of the Muji text. And as you can see, that's the GoPro that I have mounted on my head. So it felt ridiculous, honestly, having like a camera strapped onto my scalp. But you got to do what you got to do for the YouTube channel. But yeah, let me know if you like that camera angle. Anyways, I glued that down with my handy dandy glue. I mean, as much as I say that I hate using glue while journaling, it's still so handy for stuff like this, especially when you are adhering like really fine details. You can't use a tape runner for that. So I should stop hating on glue because it has many uses. But anyways, I actually decided to incorporate some watercolor, and I just used some of the pre-mixed color that I have, and this is my lazy way to adding some more visual interest to a spread, which is just drawing some vining leaves. And the thing is, I never get old of it. I never get tired of these. I know you might be sick of seeing this technique, but it's so fun, and it ends up looking so good. So I just put some medium pressure on the downstroke to make the leaf, and then I lighten my pressure to kind of create that perfect oval shape, and then I just string it together with a stem, and I use a darker orange color, and then I use brown on top of that to create that layered effect. And at this point, I knew that I was going to do my journaling not on top of that pamphlet that I so awesomely covered with lined paper. I was going to do the journaling on the craft paper, and I left some room. I didn't need too much room to journal, so I kind of made really large leaves and stems for the plants that I painted. And then I decided I would use my tearaway calendar sheet, and I would use that and cut it out to fit in that little triangular piece of paper that I cut out, which is great because the tearaway calendar sheets are very thin and almost transparent. So, well, no, is it transparent or is it translucent? Translucent. So you can kind of still see the lines, and I don't know, it just looks so graphic, and I really like how that turned out. As you all know, I have a serious problem with washi tape, so I really, had to add some washi tape to this, even though the spread looked pretty good already. I put that red washi tape on the top, and then I put this red and brown poppy washi tape on the right hand side, and then I put this classic-y, I forget what it's called, but the classic-y, I guess it's like text print washi tape. It's one of my favorite washi tapes, and I kind of try not to use it. I try not to use it as much as I can because I want to hoard it, and classic-y washi tapes are so hard to get in Canada. I need to find like a retailer who will carry classic-y because it's literally one of my favorite stationery brands, and I haven't purchased any new classic-y ever since I moved back to Canada. So if you have any recommendations as to where I can purchase the classic-y tapes, let me know. But as usual, I can't stop raving about this. I really love this Traveler's Company brass fountain pen. You're probably so sick of me ranting and raving about it, but I love it so much. I purchased it at Paper Yacht at Granville Island, one of my favorite stationery stores ever. I don't know. I just really like this pen, and I like how it writes. It's very smooth. It is a fine nib, and it kind of reminds me of my Pilot Prera, which is really smooth and one of my favorite fountain pens. But this is pretty much the completed spread. I think I added... No, this is pretty much the final spread. And I really liked how it turned out because, I don't know, it kind of is a lot more earthy than I have been going for lately. There's been a lot of bright pops of color in my journal spreads, but this is kind of like a throwback to my OG style with the muted colors, the dark browns, the dark oranges, which is my favorite color, the yellow, and then the blue. I don't know, it's just overall so I guess indicative of my style. I really like it, and I don't know, I'm just very happy with the spread. You might be thinking, this is very simple and very like lackluster, but for me, I really like the spread, and I really like the musical notes because it kind of ties the whole analog music theme that I've been going for in the spread. And I think Midori or Travelers Company did a really good job with these illustrations for the 2019 monthly calendar and weekly calendar. But I think that's it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I missed a video last week. I tried to actually get this video up actually last week. This is this is a really late video, but life gets busy sometimes, so I apologize, but I will be back with more videos every Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time, everyone. Take care, and bye.